Today we're working on a 2007 Toyota Camry. Customer complaint is they were on their way to work and it all of a sudden started running like poo and the check engine light was flashing on them. So I have it hooked up to the scan tool. I'm going to go ahead and just do a full system scan and see what comes up. The two codes it came up with is the P0302, which is cylinder 2 misfire. That'll cause our engine to run really bad, especially on a 4-cylinder. The SRS I'm not worried about. So let's go ahead and dig into that P0302 and figure out what that is. So this is cylinder number 2 here. There are a few things that can cause a cylinder number 2 misfire. We could think ignition coil, spark plug, fuel injector, or the controls to either the ignition coil or the fuel injector, or bad compression in this cylinder as well. So those are some things we want to look at. But first, before we dive into that, I want to confirm that it is cylinder number 2. We have it on the scan tool saying cylinder number 2, but we want to confirm that it is. So I'm going to start it up and just pull off the ignition connector and see if we see a change in RPM. With it running, you can really hear it running rough. It'll run rough and then for a few seconds start running good again and then back to running rough. So let's confirm that it's cylinder number 2. What I'll do is just pull this one off and you can see the extreme drop in RPM. Almost wants to die because at that point and then it's only running on 2 cylinders. This is the suspect one, so if we take it off, we won't see much of a change. Not really a change like the other one. So that confirms for me that it is cylinder number 2. On this vehicle, the coils are very accessible. So what I'm going to do is take this coil out on cylinder number 2, swap it with cylinder number 3. Well, I could swap it. It doesn't matter where you swap it. Just remember which one you swapped it at. But actually, I'll do these two, cylinder number 1 and cylinder number 2. If I swap the coil over to cylinder number 1 and the code or misfires follow this coil, then it's a coil. If it doesn't, then we can eliminate the coil as being suspect. When I pulled out the coil for cylinder number 2, I was looking for any kind of carbon tracking or signs of a failure. I noticed right here, it looks like it got pretty hot at some point. So I don't know if that's the failure or not, but it's definitely had been hot at one point. Just thought I'd share that with you. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in cylinder number 1, see if the misfire follows. So now that we have them swapped, this is the old cylinder number 2 coil. This is cylinder number 1 coil. Now if I pull off cylinder number, this coil, there's no change. But if I pull this one off now, I get that drastic change. So that's a simple way to confirm that it is the ignition coil. So I'm not looking at a spark plug or not looking at the control side of anything. I'm not looking at a fuel injector, just an ignition coil. And you can see on my scan tool as well, cylinder number 1, misfire count. That's just to confirm that swapping over the coil actually did change where the misfire was happening. So this car just needs an ignition coil. Replace cylinder number 1 ignition coil. It's been running for a while. And you can see now we have no misfire counts. So this is a confirmed fix here. Let's say it's not the ignition coil. What might you do? Well, in that case, you could also take a plug out and do the same thing. Swap plugs. That's pretty simple on this vehicle to do. You can make sure you're getting power and ground going to the coil. Same with the injectors. You could pull the injector harness, make sure you're getting power and ground going to the injector as well. This video was short and sweet. Hopefully you got something out of it or it helped you in some way. We'll see you on the next one.